Good morning, guys. It is still technically morning at the least. Getting a late start to the video this morning, but not too late. I've seen other people do it as late as like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, so 11:30 in the morning is not bad. I had a very, very early wake-up call this morning. Ellis decided at 6 a.m. he was going to wet his diaper, and so I got to take care of that one. That was fun. But I did go back to bed, so that was good. Anyway, had my morning meeting. Everything went appropriately. Biggest problem at this point with the stuff I'm doing for day job is just not having all the information that I need. Because, you know, I've got all the info I need to actually make all the connections and everything, to bring in all the additional storage that I'm going to be using. It's actually disconnecting it and removing it from the system, unpresenting it as it were, that I don't have all of the things 100% lined out. And it's just a matter of figuring that out, or at least having somebody else that knows what they're doing help me figure that out. In other news, I have a call with B&H here in just a little while. As I've been telling you guys, I signed up for affiliate programs with a couple other sites. B&H was one of them, and actually B&H is the only site so far that has actually reached out to me afterwards and said, how can we help you? What can we do for you? Let's schedule some time to talk. So here in about a half an hour, I've got a phone call with them, just I guess to see what they can sort of offer me as an affiliate. What I've seen them do in the past, I've seen them do this for Dave Dugdale, and I think for a bunch of other people, is if you're going to be working as an affiliate for them, they will send you products to review, and then you can send them back when you're done reviewing them. So like cameras, lenses, microphones, audio equipment in general. And because I do have a problem with things like that, as you can see from all of the camera equipment behind me, that might be just an amazing fit. So I guess I'm going to see what happens here in about a half an hour. But other than that, like I said, it is 11:30, so I do need to go ahead and have some lunch before my meeting in a half an hour. So we are going to do some leftover spaghetti. Woo! Wow, that was an absolutely amazing meeting. And I say that with absolutely no point of reference, because up to this point, all the affiliate programs I've been involved with, they don't actually talk to you ever. They treat you kind of like a number. B&H actually reached out to me and they wanted to talk and they wanted to see what I was doing and what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go, and it's sort of refreshing. And it actually opens the door to a massive amount of possibilities. One of the main reasons I even looked at B&H as an affiliate program is because I've been watching Dave Dugdale make videos on YouTube for years, and I know he has a similar relationship with B&H as the one that I'm forming right now, and B&H has sort of a loaner account set up for him so that he can ask them, hey, there's this new lens that's coming out, there's a new camera that's coming out, so on and so forth, and they'll ship it to him. He does a review of it and then decides if he wants to pay them to keep it, pay them, I guess, maybe a discount or something, and that's something that might potentially happen for me. So I'm going to make sure to go ahead and link to my B&H affiliate account below. So if you're looking for any photography, videography, microphone, anything like that equipment, B&H is an absolutely amazing store. Saying that not as a, you know, I'm going to make money as a result of it, but I would. But just understanding that I have been purchasing from B&H for years and years. So this is going to be potentially an amazing little partnership. And if things work out according to plan, this could actually help my channel grow a lot, my main channel. So be on the lookout. Fun times to come. Well, that was a little bit of fun. Duncan was asking about, what were you even asking about, Duncan? He was asking about passwords and if I could change the password on his iPad. Because whenever I make a purchase on his iPad, I always tell him, you know, if you figure out what this password is, I'm going to get really upset with you. But then I came to the realization that when I was a little kid, when I was little younger than him, I was doing this kind of stuff on my own. So it's really hard for me to say that I would get super mad at him. The biggest thing is that it would just cost money, but I would immediately figure it out and deal with it. But then I decided to turn it into a learning lesson thing. He's back to playing his game now again. But what I started telling him was, when I was 5 years old, my dad brought home our very first computer. IBM Tandy 1000 something. Very expensive computer for the time, didn't have any hard drives, just floppy disk drives. I was 5 years old. So you know what the first thing I did was? Duncan, what's the first thing I told you I did with it?
Break it apart?
Break it apart? Didn't break it, I opened it up. I wanted to see what made it work. I wanted to see what made it tick. I wanted to see how everything worked. Because back then, way back in the middle of the 80s, we didn't have these fancy flashy video game type things. We didn't even have a Nintendo at the time. So I gave him an example by way of, this is the Frankenputer. This is the machine that was my TTRSS server up until a couple of days ago, and I needed to unplug it anyway because I'm going to make the video about the Raspberry Pi. But I opened it up and we just very quickly went through all the components and what everything does, how there's a power supply and a fan, which was not hooked to anything for the last 5 years, motherboard that controls everything with the CPU on it and RAM, the hard drive for long-term storage, and it's not going to really click for him yet. And when I was 5 years old, it wouldn't have clicked very well for me. I knew about like floppy drives and stuff because you stick a floppy disk in, it has data on it, you run certain commands to make things happen. That's what I knew at the time because that's what was familiar to us. In his day and age, you don't have to do all that anymore. So I was telling him, you know, I used to take things apart for a pastime. Now with the way that hardware is, he can't really do that anymore. Like his iPad, he can't open it up and look into it. I guess with his Shield, he could technically open it up and look at it. And that's probably, again, something I would have done if I had been 5 years old and received a Shield. You know, big boxy controller type thing. Yes, let me take a screwdriver to that immediately. That's the kind of stuff I still do. Well, that's the stuff I would do if I had time, but I don't. But anyway, he's back to playing games. Always games. Quite a little while later, it's actually about 2:30 at this point, I have to run to UPS store to drop this off. Because if I don't, I can't get the lamp that I'm supposed to get to do the review on to... I should have just done the UPS pickup. That was an option with this one, and I just didn't for whatever reason. And I'm on my way. You know, Duncan, he is absolutely pumped for tonight. I'm hoping that everything works out according to plan. I mean, it's something so simple, running out to Subway to pick up a couple of sandwiches and then playing video games. But that is his kind of night. That's actually sort of my kind of night. Although I will say I've got so much that I need to get done, and these nights that she goes to Bunko, it's great that she has the opportunity to get out of the house. And by she, I mean Christina. Sorry, Lee, I don't mean to offend. It's great that Christina has the opportunity to get out of the house and spend time with her friends and everything, especially given that she's been sort of homebound for the last few weeks with Ellis. But on the nights that these things happen, it means an awful lot more stress, more burden on me. I'm happy to bear that burden. I will definitely be doing it. But when you combine being at home alone with Duncan, with needing to do stuff related to videos, with I'm technically on call this week for work. So far I've only had one call and it really wasn't something I had to deal with, but still, there exists the possibility that I could have to do day job type work in the evenings. It all sort of adds up to just an awful lot. Definitely doable though, and hopefully, if I can get a little bit of time this evening, Duncan and I will play our games and we'll get our sandwiches and everything. And again, hopefully, if all goes according to plan, I'll have some time after Duncan goes to bed to shoot a couple of videos. I've been meaning to go ahead and shoot the video about the Nanook, the case for the DJI Phantom 3 that I haven't actually opened yet, as well as a couple of videos for things like the USB gaming headset that I haven't even opened yet, and the VR headset that, again, haven't opened yet, and maybe even the RemoCam. If I could do 4 videos tonight, that would put me so far ahead. Now, it's turned into just an absolutely beautiful day. A cold day, but a beautiful day. And I was tempted to take some time and go outside and try to fly the FQ777954. Man, that needs a better name. You know, to fly that, to get the video for that over with as well. But GeekBuying, the company that sent me the FQ777954, reached out to me again after I made the Geekbox review. They asked if I'd be interested in taking a look at not 1, but 3 more quadcopters. And GearBest has apparently sent me 2 more as well. So I have 5 more quadcopters on the way. It's very much a case of 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Because, you know, I thought I was making some headway. I thought I was getting myself out of the hole. But apparently, like I said, there's 5 more quadcopters that are going to be on the way. Which is awesome, which I love, especially given the fact that 2 of them are technically nano size. They're nano hexcopters, but they're basically micro size hexcopters. But they have 720p cameras in them. And of the 2, one of them is Yizang, and I saw some of the video from it. Sebidaki did a video on it, and the video quality out of it looks awesome. I mean, for a little teeny tiny micro quadcopter, it's pretty impressive. So when she asked me if I wanted to review any of those 3, I told her, let's check out this one. She said, well, how about all 3? And just like that, all of my errands are complete. You've gotta love both the UPS store and Kohl's for their easy policies. UPS store, literally just run in, drop it off. Need a receipt? Yes, please. Receipt acquired. Run into Kohl's. Anything wrong with it? Nope, just didn't fit quite right. Okay, here, have money back. Thank you. So now to head back home. In the meanwhile, I have been receiving comments on the video that went up live this morning. It's so weird to have filmed videos that far in advance that they're just now starting to go live. So this morning's video was the Audio-Technica AT2020 USB Plus. Wow, the naming on some of these things. But that went live, and the comments so far have been just overwhelmingly, wow, that's much, much better than the on-camera microphone. Which, it's a little bit of an unfair comparison, and I may have to make another video to sort of do a more fair comparison, because I was using the microphone on top of the camera, and it was like 3 or 4 feet away from me, versus the Audio-Technica mic, which was sitting on the table about a foot or foot and a half away from me. So a significant amount of difference. So yeah, I may have to come back and revisit that one. They're not even in the same class of microphones, so it's really not a fair comparison one way or the other, but I think they'd be a whole lot closer in terms of the sound if they were both at the same distance from my face. And of course, tomorrow, unless something else comes up, tomorrow is going to be the audio shield, the CAD audio shield that I showed you guys last night. But again, I'm very, very tempted to go ahead and film like the Raspberry Pi video or the 3D printing video that I was talking about, or both. I've got like 6 or 7 videos that I want to make today, and I'm probably going to get the chance to film one. That is sort of the downside of the way that I have to do things now. My time is so ultra limited that I make do with what I've got. And I've been doing all right so far. I mean, since the baby was born, I've been able to crank out a lot of videos, a lot more than I ever thought I would be able to. But there are so many more to make and just so little time. A little while later, I actually very, very quickly put together a video on these little 3D printed figures that's uploading right now. I changed my little setup here, so I've got my 4K Sony cam pointed down here instead of having it overhead. I think that'll be a little bit more sustainable, and it'll allow me to use my existing boom mic stand for, well, boom mics as it was intended. And I've got this tripod that's big and sturdy, and Duncan is attempting to hop in here as well, because it is now Dude's Night. Time for Dude's Night. We're going to
Subway.
And what are we gonna do?
Eat
sandwiches. And then he doesn't remember what we're gonna do when we get back home. What are we gonna do?
Play Rocket League.
Play Rocket League. We've got that new
Oh,
Lego
yeah.
game. Yeah. And I'm sure we've got other games. We've got board games. We've got movies we can watch. All sorts of fun stuff. Because it's Dude's Night.
Mommy's going to Bunko.
Yep. Mommy's going to play Bunko, and she's taking Ellis with her because all of the ladies at Bunko want to meet Ellis. All the ladies love Ellis. And all the dudes are dudes. And Ellis will be a dude eventually. For right now, he's a baby dude. Before they run out the door and before we run out the door, they came to say hi. Hello, little man. Hi. That's good timing. Good job. He's just ready to be on camera. You want to see it? There you go. Who's that? Do you recognize him? Hello. He's in a good mood. That's the important thing, right? Mm-hmm. Happy times. You have to let me know what everybody thinks of him. Everybody's gonna love him. Mm-hmm. Yep. They better. And whoo, we look at the sunset. Pretty, pretty. But for now, Dude's Night. Dude's Night. And Dude's Night begins with sandwiches. Mine looks pretty decent. Turkey and all sorts of green things. And some baked chips. You good? Yeah. And we have made it back, and there were super secret special surprises. What'd you get? Really? You got a thing, yep.
He got 2.
And I didn't get anything. I totally didn't.
Yes, he did.
Nope. Me and Duncan have been sitting here playing some Star Wars, the Lego Star Wars, and pod racing.
I missed it, Mom.
That's okay. All right, last game before bath time. He's checking out Defense Grid 2 on Steam, which I think I got free from a Loot Crate or a Geek Fuel box or something. He's just kicking some butt. He's got some weird savant thing about these tower defense games. I think I need to put him up against Plants vs. Zombies. I think he'd enjoy that. And that was it. He just finished it. 20 levels. No questions asked, no problems. It was on easy. I'll give him that. But still, he's 6. He's almost 7. Tower defense is his gig. Oh look, a random baby arrived. Hello, random baby. Hi. They made it back safely from Bunko. It's just a little bit after 9. Basically right as I was getting Duncan into bed and getting ready to read him his story, they showed up. And he's just so happy. He's in a good mood, for the most part. And of course, while we were up there changing his clothes and he was spitting up all over the place, my dad called. They were supposed to be coming in this coming weekend, and unfortunately, according to him, it's scheduled to snow like up to 3 feet where my parents live. I don't know anything about if it's going to snow here or not, but suppose we will see. Luckily, when my in-laws were here last weekend, I did go into the house and pulled out my snowblower, as I mentioned, so I am ready to combat the snow when and if it does come. I think he said where they live, not in the mountains, it's supposed to get up to 15 inches. And if we get that kind of coverage here, it's going to be hard. I'm going to have to go out and plow it multiple times to keep it from piling up. Although now that I think about it, I may not exactly have to. I mean, keep a little path plowed down to the road just so we can get to our mailbox and get packages and whatnot. And we can just order food in from Google Express and order deliveries and whatnot and packages from Amazon, and we'll be set for a little while. Because I work from home and she's here with a baby, and Duncan's not going to be at school if there's that much snow. He is just so concerned. Says you're talking about becoming a hermit. Don't become a hermit. Yeah, he's just concerned. Anyway, but they're back home now and everybody's safe and everybody's happy. And me and Duncan had an absolute blast. He loved getting to sit back and play video games. I mean, it's such a simple thing, but getting to sit back and spend time with your dad like that, just one-on-one time. He loves that. I love that. It's the best. And eventually, when the littlest one is bigger, we will have one-on-one with he and Duncan, and then one-on-one with he and I, and all three together being big buddies, and it'll be great. And Christina was just saying, I can't wait for it. Well, she can wait for it, but can't wait for it for him to be old enough so that we can all have our dudes day together, so that she can have her ladies night to herself, or her ladies night out at Bunko and whatnot. It'll be good all around. More mistakes might have been made. I went ahead and I picked up the 2 extra Lifeline games that are available on Android. They were like $1 a piece, and I've got money from Google Rewards stuff. But what I really love about this so far, I don't have an Android Wear device connected, so I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but notification drawer, look at that. You're not gonna be able to see that because contrast. Even though you can't read it, you can probably see it's got some text in there from the person and then answers you can provide there. So I can say answer the door or hide. And then as a result of that, it's gonna keep sending me notifications, which is both good and bad. And they cluster all the notifications together. And then once I get to a point where I can make a decision, I can do that. So I don't actually have to go back into the app. But I can go back into the app, which this time actually has a mini map that shows me where I am physically on the ship. This is a whole new game. I actually think I might like this one a lot better. Well, I went ahead, Christina and Ellis have gone ahead and gone to bed. Ellis is being fussy, so this may not last long, but I took just a few minutes and filmed the video about the Raspberry Pi Model 2 running TTRSS. Not sure how that video is going to turn out, but I thought it was fun. I thought it was worth a shot. And realistically, the main reason I wanted to do it is because of this. Yes, this was filmed at ISO 6400, so it doesn't look pretty, but there were literally no lights turned on in the room at all. I had the tablet screen in front of me that was showing me, so it was illuminating me with myself. And you can see the glow in the dark. Lights down, it glows in the dark. So you can see glowing in the dark, just the illumination of the tablet. That's some pretty footage. It's ISO 6400, so it looks kind of grainy and gross, but impressive for what it is. I just couldn't find a good way to get the glow in the dark filament to really glow without turning all the lights off. But anyway, that video is filmed. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take the time and import the footage just so I can go ahead and have it ready to go. Maybe put it all in order and everything. I don't know if I'm even gonna take the time to start editing on it or anything. It's not gonna take long. I can do it tomorrow. It's really just a matter of doing it. And like I said, Ellis is starting to get fussy, so there's a very good chance I'm going to end up with an armload of baby here in a minute. But I'm very, very tempted. I'm seriously tempted to go ahead and take a little bit of time and start looking at 1 or 2 of the other things that I have yet to unbox. Because I know very rapidly I'm going to start receiving emails from these companies saying, why haven't you looked at our product yet? Why haven't you made video about this yet? And I don't want to get to that point. I don't want to let myself get so far behind. That's how I got in this mess in the first place. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and spend, instead of opening the other things I mentioned, I'm going to spend a little bit of time trying to get the RemoCam up and working. Like I said before, I've never even plugged it in. I've gone ahead and got the app installed on my phone. I just have to plug it in, set up the app, turn on the cameras and whatnot. So that's how I'm going to finish up my night. And realistically, it'll probably end up with the baby is crying, please come take him. Okay. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed spending time with me and my family today. I know that we enjoyed making this video. And we will see you again tomorrow. Bye guys.